What's up, y'all? So, as you could probably ascertain from the title of this video, I'm going to be giving y'all a tour of my hardcore Minecraft world after 1,000 days of playing in it. But I kind of thought it prudent to tell you a little bit more about myself and what this world really means to me. So, I'm 19 years old. I am just finishing up my first year in college. I'm studying architectural engineering. I actually started off in aerospace engineering, and then one fateful night, I realized aerospace engineering is not what was made for me. I realized I really enjoy architecture, specifically high-rise architecture, as you can see in this skyline of my hardcore world here. But yeah, this Minecraft world has meant so much to me. I started it in May of 2025, and it is currently March of 2026. So it's been almost a year now that I've been living and creating in this world. So I'm really excited to show you all around it, and I think we're gonna start from the oldest building and work our way out. So here we go. All right. So we're gonna start off with this big fella right here. So we're actually gonna do this. I took two main inspirations for this building. I took inspiration from the Sears Tower in Chicago, Illinois, and I also took inspiration from the US Bank Tower in Los Angeles, USA. So, the Sears Tower, for those unfamiliar, has a design where it starts with 9 squares at the bottom, and as the floors go up in elevation, slowly these floors are cut off until at the very top there's just 2 squares left. I'll overlay an image onto the video so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. But the US Bank Tower, I didn't really take too much inspiration from that, but it does have this kind of circular design that also has a few cutoffs, and I really like the circular idea. So this building, believe it or not, this is actually my first home in this Minecraft world. More on that in a moment. But yeah, it has 4 cutoffs, and much like the Sears Tower, it has 2 antennae at the top here. Kind of has that circular sort of design of the US Bank Tower, or Maze Bank Tower, if you like GTA. But yeah, this is actually my first home on this Minecraft world. This is my 5th attempt at hardcore Minecraft. My first 4 attempts didn't go too great, so believe it or not, my first permanent home, really, this is the first home I built, but my first permanent home was a jungle temple. It's kind of hard to believe, but we're actually in a jungle right now. This is technically a jungle. Now it's a concrete jungle, right? But yeah, this is by far the building that took me the longest to build, so I guess we'll go up it. Something you'll realize throughout this video is that I am not one for interiors. I like building the buildings. I don't like building what's inside, and I think there's a beauty to that, right? It's about, people play the game in the way they want to play the game, and this is how I enjoy playing Minecraft, and I've had a really great time with it. But you've got water elevator, you can see these cutoffs here, like I detailed before, until eventually you make it up to the top of the elevator here, and you can go up the stairs to the suite. Got some cats, a fish tank. This is probably the most fleshed out interior, by the way. We got some shelves, paintings, little glass railing. We've got cats, a couch. Let's see. Yeah, we've got my bedroom. And what I like to do is I like to jump off the building. But the second building I built is this little gray structure right here. This was important to me since it's kind of the head of my industry in this Minecraft world, right? It houses all my villagers, great villas, great living quarters. I even let them have windows. I'm a very generous guy, and some of them I even give names. Like this fellow right here is named Mending, so nice little guy. But yeah, this is actually it was built pretty simultaneously with the building I just showed you. And yeah, nothing too special about it. You'll notice that the lighting fixtures in here are crude, to say the least. A lot of the upper floors on this building haven't been populated simply because of lack of need, honestly. So yeah, this is this building. It's nice. An actually fairly recent addition is that on the rooftop, I've actually added a farm. So yeah, we got a little wheat farm up here. Pretty nice. I took inspiration again from Chicago. For those who are familiar, you can actually go up to the 103rd floor of the Sears Tower in Chicago, and you can look down at all the rooftops and skyline of the buildings around you. And one of the things I noticed that I really liked was there's a lot of green roofs, you know, people utilizing these rooftop spaces to have greenery within the city, which I really enjoy. So I decided, okay, why not do something similar? So that's what I did. So this third building here, I kind of took inspiration from the Aeon Center in Chicago. You're gonna hear a lot of that in this video. It's got these kind of vertical windows that kind of follow through all the way up. It's got this white, this is actually pale oak wood. Pretty interesting, but yeah. As for interior, you know the story. It's not much here. It's honestly a miracle if they even add like floors to these buildings, as you'll soon see. This has my super smelter, which is pretty cool. Let's see. Yeah, I guess next would have been this brick building right here. So I kind of wanted to go for something more modest, but you know, we've got this stone brick outside, and we've got this brick siding, I suppose. And we've got a melon phone in there, which is very profitable. Very good. Very profitable. Let's see. So yeah, I guess next I would have I constructed this bridge, and it's very nice, but I began working my way over this island when I constructed this building right here. So there isn't really one singular building I took inspiration from for this fella. I took a lot of ideas from the Wrigley building in Chicago, but really just this more classical style of architecture. I love how these columns sort of extend vertically, and at night this is really a spectacle because, you know, you've got these lanterns that just sort of shine down. It's very nice, but this building is actually has a functional purpose. You know, it's my storage system, so I guess this is my opportunity to flex, right? So yeah, I've got a few diamonds. Nothing too special, you know. Yeah, a lot of people spend their Minecraft runs dedicated to farming insane amount of resources. Not me. I just like to build. So yeah, I don't have too much in terms of resources, but I did need a way to organize these resources. So when I'm building these buildings with very specific blocks that have very specific crafting recipes, I can know where to get them. So it's my storage system. Again, the lighting fixtures are, well, they leave a bit to be desired. So next we're going to move on to this building right here. So if we go up here real quick, you'll see it has a kind of sloped roof. And something interesting about this building is that you can see that there's sort of three of these, I guess, square sections with sloped roofs, but this building actually used to be only this primary one right here. These two sections on the side were actually a fairly recent addition, probably around the 800-day mark or so. But yeah, I originally took inspiration for this super skinny sloped roof. I took inspiration from the Steinway Tower in New York City. It's the Billionaires Row neighborhood, and it's this super skinny skyscraper with this sloped roof, and it does a pretty poor job of imitating that. And honestly, it didn't look great before this renovation, so I'm glad I renovated it. But if we go up there, got a little elevator, you know, gotta have it for buildings of this height. Go up there, got a few stairs, and got a little spot to play some music. So it's pretty nice. Pretty view of the skyline too. So yeah. Oh gosh, these stairs are broken right now. I need to fix that. Yeah, you'll notice as I tour this world that I did very little to prepare for this tour. Sort of an as-is type deal, you know. But we wait for the elevator to take us down. Yeah, you'll also notice that the city has rather poor lighting, so we're gonna catch some Z's real quick. All right. So, suppose the next building I would have built would have been along the bank of this river right here. The windows are kind of blown out in this bottom level, and I haven't really developed anything street level wise, but it's my creeper farm. Pretty nice, pretty good XP wise. Gets me the gunpowder I need, and it's actually one of the only farms I have on this world. Yeah, something I've realized as I played on this world is that there's a lot of different playstyles in Minecraft. You know, some people love to build these auto farms that just make their lives so much easier. I only like to do those if it's absolutely necessary for my survival. So, speaking of absolutely necessary for my survival, we come to this building right here. There wasn't really much inspiration for this. I wanted to build a building out of iron that would flex my wealth, since obviously, as you can tell from this poor fella right here, this is an iron farm. So yeah, it kind of has this stone brick siding with I guess iron block cores and columns on the edges here, and it kind of follows through all the way up till we get this X shape right here. It's pretty interesting because I decided to go for something a bit different, and it has this gray glass right here. I'm actually going to make this into an observatory eventually. Mark my words, by the time 2000 days comes along, that'll be done. But I suppose next would have been my recreation of the Twin Towers from New York City. Yeah, I mean, these are pretty straightforward. They're the Twin Towers. They're made of stone. They weren't that fun to build, but they certainly make their mark on the skyline. And until recently, they were completely empty, but yeah, they've kind of got this courtyard here with a road surrounding this dark oak tree. We go inside here, and we're starting to fill them up with villagers, you know. I decided that these Twin Towers are going to be my economic hub, so to speak, for this world. Yeah, like the sign says. Yeah. So yeah. Now we're getting to a point where I realized, I guess this would have been around the 500 day mark. I attended a conference actually for structural engineers, and I was talking to someone who's working in the industry currently, and somehow, I don't know how, the conversation turned to Dubai. And for those who know me, I'm a big avid hater of the Dubai skyline. You know, I think the buildings are tasteless. I don't think they offer much to the world. I think they're extravagant, not to mention the ethicality of how they're built. But I realized something similar was happening in my Minecraft skyline, where it's like, oh, all these buildings that I'm creating are kind of icons in their own right, and if every building is iconic, then none of them are, you know. Not every building can be special, you know. You need some more dull buildings to kind of make the more special buildings be accented, right? So with that came the creation of this striking black building, which I've honestly done very little with since I constructed it, but it kind of follows the form of the cliffside here. We could go in it. There's not much to see since, yeah. Eventually, I'd like to build, I think, a sugarcane farm in here. I don't have a permanent one yet, but yeah. This is what came of me realizing my buildings need to stop looking so cool. And almost immediately after that, I was like, nah. So I built this fella right here, and I'm actually really proud of it. It's pretty obviously Art Deco, and I did a lot of research into the architectural style in order to make this building. So something I learned about Art Deco is that there's a lot of cutoffs, which you can see in this building. You know, we've got cutoffs right here, all the way up there. I also learned that they like to emphasize verticality, so you'll see that these these windows kind of follow this vertical design that follows through all the way to the top, which I had fun building. And they also, Art Deco buildings also have, well, sometimes, obviously they like to, you know, be extravagant, right? So I kind of took inspiration from the Chrysler building in creating this spire up here. So we've kind of got these overlapping arches, right? We've got this outer arch, and this arch, and this arch, and this arch, all the way to the top of this needle right here. So pretty cool. I had a lot of fun designing this building, and I'm really proud of it. And if we go inside, it actually serves a purpose. So yeah, we go inside. There's a little lobby. Again, interiors are not my strong suit, but here we are. We go up here, and this is where I ethically keep villagers. Yeah. They've got trades. Sometimes they're even good trades. We've got HR. Yeah, nice little spot. So, again, not one for interiors. This is kind of cool to look up at, though. Kind of interesting. Alright, moving on. I guess next would have been... I suppose the next building would have been this one right here. So, I watched a YouTube video on how the streets in New York work. Specifically, I was watching a YouTube video about Times Square. And Times Square is actually formed, that triangular shape is formed because one of the roads, actually a couple of the roads, but this one specifically in New York runs diagonally, so it kind of creates this diagonal plot of land. A similar thing it can be seen in around the Flatiron building, right, where it's got this kind of triangular shape where it's like, how do you build with that? So I was like, okay, why don't I experiment with that? So I decided to create this sort of like apartment style housing. We've kind of got this alternating window design where it's like two on the outside, two in the middle, and so on. But yeah, kind of a triangular plot of land. Just a kind of fun building. Again, the interior is astonishing. I hear awful things happening up there. Must be a bad neighborhood. So yeah, I suppose we'll migrate this way. And we'll move on to this little red building right here. So, around the time of me building this building, I started to realize there's an issue. And the fact that, in terms of urban planning, I had none. All of these buildings are placed kind of haphazardly. Just kind of placed wherever. You'll see that on the island over here where it's like, I'm just kind of place buildings where I want them. Whereas if you look at major cities, you know, they're more organized than that. They've got a kind of grid system to work at. So you'll notice that going on from this building, I've decided to start creating more of a grid. You know, I've cleared out a large amount of land so I can actually finally start to efficiently use my land, you know, and create a grid system that's resemblant of one in real life. You know, this is kind of the main avenue and then splits off, got some roads, city blocks, but, you know, if I were to give advice to somebody who's creating Minecraft City for the first time, I would say think about where you put your buildings. Really think about it. Think about urban planning. Think about the space. Think about the location. But yeah, back to this building. I visited Chicago in December of 2025. It was like, I think my 4th time going, but this time, of course, I was looking for things I could take inspiration from in my Minecraft world. So something I noticed in Chicago, oh, it's raining. Something I noticed in Chicago is that not every building in the city is a skyscraper. You know, of course, a lot of them are 10, 20, 30, 110 stories tall. But a lot of them are just kind of like 4-story, street level, you know, whatever. So I decided to build this little 4-story building out of red concrete. I think it's going to be, I'm going to put my extra armor sets in here. I don't know if they're growing in the attic, but yeah, just a little 4-story concrete building. So as we move on, I'll talk a little bit about the development down here. So this is actually, all of this used to be a cliffside right here, and through a lot of mining of stone, I've cleared this out a lot. I still got a lot to do, but yeah, this is going to be a road going down this way, and there's going to be buildings lining either side, and I think this is probably going to be a cliffside. I don't think I can clear the entire mountain. Well, I could, but I really don't want to. And by the way, we're going to head to sleep real quick, just so I'll get the best view. So, moving on. Yeah. My development, like I said, is going to be along this side of the river, and eventually I'm going to expand further around here, flatten this all out. That's right, I'm a big environmental activist. And it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be a nice little city. But another recent piece of construction was this building right here. So I'm not really sure what inspiration it took. I kind of thought of Marina City, again, in Chicago, where it's kind of located right on the edge of the river, which is a really interesting design. It actually ends up incorporating the river pretty nicely. But yeah, this is just kind of fun to build with. It's actually made, oh, there's a guy over there. It's actually made out of dripstone, which you can see, and deep slate, so both stones found relatively deep underground. And while we're looking at it, I suppose we could talk a bit about what's below street level here. So let's go down there. I don't know if it's obvious, but I'm a big fan of Chicago architecture, Chicago urban design. I think they got some pretty good things going on over there. So yeah, this is my, well, it's going to be my rendition of a river walk, where it's either going to be 1 or 2 stories below street level, depending on where you are on the river walk, but it's going to wrap all the way around, and it's going to be pretty cool. It's going to have restaurants, retail, and other things that start with R, which I don't know what that means. But yeah, moving along, we've got this very unnatural looking grass mass stretching out into the water, and I'm gonna turn this into a public park eventually. Oh yeah, speaking of flexing, by the way, this is my flex for my Minecraft world. Found that by digging out under here. But yes, it's gonna be a nice little public park. Oh yeah, and if we follow it along this way, we can see my really rather pitiful sugarcane farm. So yeah, and I suppose that takes us onto my very last and most recent piece of construction, which is my rendition of 432 Park Avenue in New York City. A lot of these buildings I took inspiration from existing buildings or previously existing buildings, but yeah, this is just a straight up copy. It's really interesting. It's got this really slender width to height ratio. In real life, I believe it's like 1:15 or something crazy like that. So yeah, I decided to emulate that here. It's currently in the process of getting all windowed out. Yeah, it's a pretty cool building. Something I don't know, it's interesting. It's really large in comparison to my other buildings. You know, it eclipses other buildings in terms of height, which was kind of intended, but also I noticed in terms of width. You know, it's got 13 blocks across, which is necessary because I wanted 4 2x2 windows on each side to sort of mimic the design. The real 432 Park Avenue has 6 windows on each floor. Well, on each side of each floor. But this one has 4 for space reasons. But even so, with that only having 4 windows, it still is very wide. And so it's kind of really large in comparison to the other buildings. But, you know, I was upset by it at first, but I realized that's only motivation for me to start building larger, start building better, and reaching for the sky. So, yeah, I'm really excited for this building, and I'm really excited to move outwards too. You could already see me planning to do that, you know, filling out in stone. Yeah, we got a little cactus farm here. But that's basically the meat of it. It's basically the meat of my city. I'm really proud of it. Over the past almost year now, this city has become a really personal thing for me. It's represented my ambitions in life, my creativity. This is my creative outlet. This is my escape from my calculus and physics that is given with the engineering curriculum. So one thing I wanted to do is place down the city flag for the first time for 1,000 days. It's actually 1,002 now, but that's okay. But oh god, where I put it? For it. Oh, this is embarrassing. There we go. Okay, here we go. We're gonna plant it right in the middle of the square. So yeah, looking ahead, I plan to expand further that way. We're gonna build bigger, we're gonna build better, and we're gonna build smarter. But here is the city flag. It's got blue all around to represent that island right there with the river wrapping around it, and it's got a little red globe because you know why? Because we're worldwide, baby. Alright. So, one last little thing that I thought was interesting is, this is one of my favorite vantage points, you know, these 2 pieces of stone on this island kind of far away to view the skyline. And I also think it's really interesting to view what it looked like before all of my construction. So, we're going to do just that. So, this is what the world looked like before I came along and ruined it. We fly on over there. You can see this sort of shape that I've gone with for my main sort of area. You can see the jungle temple that I was talking about earlier where I kind of started out. I huddled. I squatted here my first like 30 days in this world because I was really scared to go outside. Hardcore Minecraft. It scares a man. But yeah, I basically flattened everything here. Working on flattening all this. This island right here is unrecognizable. I mean, think about it. The Twin Towers will be right there. So, yeah. So, I think it's fitting to end this video where I started it, with me sort of gazing at the skyline and maybe looking ahead. So, I plan on making this kind of video every 1,000 days. Hopefully I don't die in between now and then, since that mean the world would cease to exist. But yeah, y'all will see me at 2,000 days, and if I only make it to day like 1,369 or whatever, something like that, you'll see a YouTube video with the title 1,369 Days of Hardcore Minecraft. But yeah, I'm really proud of what I've done here, and I'm glad I have the opportunity to show it off. So thank you so much for watching this video, and bye bye.